Hello, I'm Julia Quinn and I'm here doing my weekly Facebook Live, but it's normally on a Thursday, but I couldn't do it yesterday. I wasn't near my computer or home to be able to do it, so I'm doing it today. And this is the card I'm sharing with you. This was a card I did for the Colour INKspiration challenge last week, I think. And it was, the colours for the challenge actually the challenge is still going. So if you're keen to join in the challenge, you still can. You still can join the challenge. So the colours are Grey Granite, Summer Splash, Shy Shamrock and Early Espresso. Check out those gorgeous colours, and if you have a look at our colour challenge at the Colour INKspirations Challenges Facebook page, you'll see some amazing, beautiful projects made by the design team and by people who have joined in the challenge. So if you want to join in this challenge, all you have to do is make a card using those colours only, and then you can also use basic colours like white, very vanilla, basic black and beige, and create any card of your choosing using these colours. And we'll have a look and also comment on it. So it's a rather fun project, but the thing I love about the Colour INKspiration challenges is that it actually challenges me to use colours I don't normally use. This one was easy. I love these colours. If you know me, you know I'm a huge fan of greens and a huge fan of neutrals. So I found this a really fun card. It fell together easily for me, but when we have the challenges with the purples and pinks, they really get me going. And it's good for me to try new things. Okay, so with my card, I'm using the Textured Notes dies and the Textured Notes stamp set. Let me get those stamps out ready. These are an online exclusive bundle, and it's got leaves. I just love leafy things. And it says, "You are seriously the best. Thank you. A little note of appreciation." So this is a thank you stamp set. And then the dies that go with it have these lovely textured edges on them. There's a nice long one there, but they're all quite stack all inside each other, which is rather lovely. Okay, so that's the Textured Notes. Oops, now I'm stuck. Dies and stamp set. It's Textured Notes bundle. Okay, now the card I've made is actually a bit of a fun fold, celebrating those lovely dies. So I have done my die cutting already. I have used, want me to show you the die set? I have used this little one here for my A Little Note of Appreciation stamp. Actually, I didn't get that one out of the box. And then these two for these two frames that help to create my layers for my Z fold. It's just a simple Z fold. A Little Note of Appreciation. Here we go. I'll just get you out as well. And a little block for that one. Okay. So my card is a basic white card, thick white card. And the Z fold is actually easy. Just fold it in half, and I have scored it in half. And then fold the front in half again. I'm just lining up my edges there. I use my bone folder and then squish down my cardstock, and that creates the classic Z fold, Z, Z, Z. Okay, and then I have, for each of the panels, I've got my Summer Splash, which is I find has quite an edge. I've used the same cutting edge on my trimmer with all of this cardstock, and the white hasn't got a hairy edge, but the Summer Splash does. So they've got that one there, and then this one for the front, and then this one here is for inside the card. Okay, and then for a little hint with this sort of a card, when you want to write on it, you just fold it right back, and then you can write quite easily. Okay, so they're my three main panels, and to make them look amazing, I'm going to, so this is Summer Splash cardstock. I'm going to use Shy Shamrock for my leafery. lots of leafery stamping. So I'm going to, I should get a scrap really. Bit of scrap paper, it's got a staple in it, that won't be a problem. And stamp around the edges. It doesn't matter if I don't stamp it spectacularly well. This is a lovely watercolor image, which is another reason why I love it. It's incredibly forgiving. So one more there. That's just easy, quick, easy stamping, okay? And it doesn't really matter which way I go. I'm just making sure I keep that little stalky bit off the edge of the paper. And then for this one, because it's the writing panel, I'm going to just do stamping at the top and the bottom. And then for these guys, stamp at the top and bottom of the corner. The corners, okay? And one here, one there. So that's all my Shy Shamrock stamping with that gorgeous leaf. I just washed my stamp here. That gorgeous leaf. The next bit of stamping will be my cute little bit of basket weaving with the grey granite. And this goes onto each of my little white panels. So I don't really want to stamp this very firmly. I just want something subtle in the background. And that's going to be covered up there as well. I just want a tiny thing in the background to work as a focal point for my greetings. There we go, that lovely basket is done. So that's all that stamping with the grey granite. And I'm going to stamp all of my greetings. Oh, there are only two. My two greetings using Colour INKspiration. Now I've lost my little thin, here it is, a little thin one. This is a little note of appreciation. Pop that there, right inside that little rectangle. And this one is a scrap of white. Just going to stamp my thank you there. Who sends thank you cards? Who gives thank you cards? Thank you cards are such a lovely thing to do. I think they're sort of an old-fashioned thing. Now I'm going to need that again in a minute, but I'm going to fussy cut my greeting. Now the secret of fussy cutting is to keep your scissors still, okay? Use your other hand, whichever's your dominant hand, keep the scissors still, like don't move them. The other hand does all the feeding and the driving, okay? It's the helper, the assistant, that drives the paper into the right direction for you as you are cutting with the scissors. And before I was a mum and before I was a Stampin' Up teacher, I was a preschool teacher, and one of the things we taught the little kids is to keep your thumb pointing to the ceiling and your elbow to the floor. That keeps you nice and stable and also directs the blade of the scissors in the right way to cut the cardstock. Okay, so that's sort of fussy cutting 101 there. And I know a lot of people who don't enjoy fussy cutting, and I have to admit, when I first started stamping, I wasn't a thrilled fan of it either. But I have since discovered in my maturity that it does make a beautiful effect on your stamping, on your final product of the card. Okay, now it's time for Summer Splash. And with my Summer Splash, I'm going to highlight or add colour to the edges of all of my pieces of cardstock, every single edge. And actually on this one I want to make it quite strong right on the edges, so I'm going to pick up my panel there and use my brush just on the edges. Okay, there's my thank you. This is the one for the front, just going around the edges. And the beauty of the blending brush is that you can start light and then add layering. You might notice I'm starting off the edge of my white cardstock every time. Sometimes I forget and go straight in and create a splodge, and that's where the deepest colour is often. Okay, I'm going to focus a little bit of depth of colour around where the leaves are. Doesn't that look? Compare. I love the difference with that lovely bit of depth. Okay, same treatment with this one. Scoop around the outside. And the other thing I find with using my blending brush and ink is, especially for these detailed dyes here, having the extra ink, I think, picks up the detail a bit more than when it hasn't been inked. So that's a lovely way to highlight the nice texture that's already there. Okay, a bit more depth around my leaves. And this leaf. Okay, there's that. Just a tiny bit on the edges of this one. Once again, I'm going to pick that up and do that way. Ooh, it's given a lot more ink than I really wanted to. Right, so time to blend it in. Get rid of that extra splodgy bit. Bit more colour. There we go. That's a bit better. And another bit just here on that splodgy bit. There we go. Managed to blend that away, thank goodness. Okay, now my writing panel. One thing about doing this much blending on a project, after I'm finished I will have to add a bit more ink refill to my Summer Splash ink pad. And I'm trying to use my brush in different parts on the ink pad when I remember, so that I don't take it all from the very centre. If you have a look closely, you can see the bits where I've actually used it more frequently. It's taken away the ink, so try and work over this side for a bit now. Okay, almost done. I know this is a bit tedious to watch, but the effect is amazing. I love the effect. Just adding so much. So this colour, Summer Splash, is the same colour as the cardstock. The stamping is Shy Shamrock, so it's a different colour. But adding the extra ink onto the cardstock really makes it very, I think, warm and gives it lots of lovely depth. If you have a look at that and that to compare the depth of glorious colour. Okay, and last one. When I was a kid, there was an ad for some breakfast cereal. I forget what it was. I think it was a Kellogg's ad. And the kids were swimming in the pool. So there's a breakfast cereal advertising the fact that it was healthy and gave kids energy and whatnot. But the catchphrase of the advertisement was, last one before breakfast. So I always think of that when I'm saying the last one. If I say it at home, my children have no idea what I'm talking about. Last one before breakfast. And like in the advertisement, the kid would have a swim or lap and then last one before, but then they'd jump out and have their whatever that was, Nutrigrain or something. Some apparently health giving. There we go. There's all of my blending done. Absolutely loving it. Loving, loving, loving. Okay, now let's stick all these panels onto my card. I might just wipe my hands just to get rid of any excess ink with my trusty towel that sits right beside my desk here. Okay, and pop this one in first, and just wiping away all those hairy bits that are peeping out. I don't want that effect. Maybe I should intentionally go for a torn edge look. There we go, there's that one. And this one on this side. Well, each of these panels have a little border around them just to highlight that lovely white is making the Summer Splash pop, isn't it? Okay, so there's my card, basic card. Here's my large panel here. I'm going to pop this one right in the centre. There we are. There. And my little note of appreciation, I actually have used dimensionals. Where did I put them? On it. I can't see. I thought I had them. Found them. They fell off my desk. I'm at a standing desk. Sometimes I push things off the edge. Okay, going to use some dimensionals on this one. Pull them off. And pop you right in the center there. Center of my thing, my basket weave. And then this one here, because it's a different size, is going to nest inside that frame there, giving that lovely effect. So to achieve that, I'm going to line it up on the other side, because I only want to put adhesive on this left hand side here that's attached to the front of the card. Okay, very important you don't put adhesive all over the front panel of a Z card. That's basics of that particular fun folders, to be very careful. Okay, now I'm going to put some mini dimensionals on this one because it's a bit more detailed. Here we go. One large one, one mini. That should be enough. And pop you right in the center. And then the pièce de résistance is to add some sparkles. In Colour flat pearls. These are, I love these. They're not too, don't stick up too much for postage, which is rather lovely. So on my previous card, I think I've put Summer Splash. On this one, I'm going to try the Shy Shamrock and see if we can notice any difference. But the colours are very close to each other anyway, and I think blend together rather magnificently. There we go. There is my Colour INKspiration card. Hello, thank you for everyone for joining me. I'm sorry I haven't noticed your comments, but I certainly will go back as soon as I'm finished and reply to all of you. Thank you so much for joining me. So this is the card for this fortnight's Colour INKspiration challenge, which finishes next Wednesday, I believe. So you have, what's today? Friday. You have 4 more days to add your entry for these spectacular, glorious, gorgeous colours. Summer Splash, Shy Shamrock, Grey Granite, and Early Espresso. And you too can make a stunning green card, or espresso card if you prefer, but green. What's there not to love? Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll come and answer all your quick comments now. Bye now.